spotting a good deal for you, the future homeowner.
Right, so we love doing these videos, and today it's a really great question because people always ask us, well, how is this a good deal? What are your deals? And the question isn't what my deals are, it's how do we evaluate the deals? Now, yes, some is going to depend on you, your credit, your pre-approval letter, what are we looking for, but there's other factors involved with this as well. So we're going to kind of run through the factors, starting with the actual property value, and then kind of give you some questions and assessments so you can kind of decide if this is a good deal on your own, so you're not calling me and saying, hey, is this a good deal or not?
Therefore, we are talking about good deal about the property, not the good deal for the finances.
Correct.
Exactly. Therefore, the first thing that we wanted to talk and some question associated with that is property value and also price comparison.
What's the first question?
The first question is the asking price of the home comparable to the other homes in this area?
Right, so you're kind of looking at the neighborhood, and what are you doing with the neighborhood?
With the neighborhood, you look at the house that has the same features, similar square footage, and also the location-wise that we are, and compare them.
The second question we're going to ask is, has properties in the area appreciated in value over the past few years? What the past cannot dictate our future, but the past can tell us what the trends are that is happening, so you can make an educated guess on what will happen in the future. So really, it's important to say, well, what's been happening to property values in this area in the past few years? What's the next one?
Exactly. And the third one that we wanted to ask is, does the property price per square feet align with the neighborhood average?
Right, so you're kind of doing like a appraisal situation at that point.
Exactly, but we are not doing appraisal.
Right, no, we're not appraisers. But before we get into more ways on how to spot a deal, let's do our introduction.
Let's hit it!
Hi, I'm Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you all text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, don't get our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below.
The second item for understanding and spotting the good deal is about the condition of home and how they did the maintenance for that house.
Right, so these are great questions as well when we're walking the house, because here's the thing. Before we put an offer, you cannot send a home inspector. You just cannot. So that's not going to happen. So we have to kind of make an educated guess on our own. So this is a good question. So the first thing is really, does this house seem in good condition with no major repairs? And if there are major repairs, what are they? How much are they going to cost me?
Exactly. Therefore, with the eyes, you can definitely looking at it. That's what the home inspector, they do too. Visually, first they inspect everything. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is, are the major elements of the house, like a roof, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, are in a good shape?
So you want to, if they're less than 10 years old, that's amazing. So you really want to look at the base of all houses. And the other question is, has the house gone under any major or recent renovations, upgrades? What is going on with that house in and of itself? And how am I going to save money because they did all these things for me?
Exactly. Therefore, this was the second one. The third one in our list, of course, location and neighborhood. And the first thing that it comes to our mind, the first question is the house located in the desirable area or upcoming neighborhood for you?
Right, because we cannot move. That house might be the most beautiful house you ever saw, but we cannot change its neighborhood. We cannot change its location. So these are really, really important questions. The next question is, are there any positive development plans in the area that I should be aware of? Because, for instance, where we live right at this very thing, next year they are planning a road expansion on the major road. Will it affect my house directly? No. But should anybody who's going to be buying in my neighborhood know that they're going to be doubling the major road that we're connected to? Yes, because that's a positive, and it's a positive development because it means we are growing area.
The third question could be, is the neighborhood's crime rate is low or decreasing?
Increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing, yes.
So the question with that one is, sometimes we as real estate agents cannot tell you the crime rate, but you can certainly look that up. And you can certainly call the police station and ask them, and they will be more than happy to tell you exactly what is going on.
Exactly.
The next
item, item 4, is really market trends and future value. No, Therefore, this is also a little bit more complicated than the other things.
Well, they're looking at, is the real estate area looking at a lot of growth, or is there signs of stability? Is it increasing in certain areas, but it's pretty stable otherwise? So it just kind of depends on your area. I know for us, we have never stopped growing in our area, so there has always been growth in these past few years. So we are not in a stable market. We're getting a lot of incoming from all over the country where we are. So that is kind of a trend that we should be
Which brings us to the second question in this category, that are there any indicators that the property value will increase or not? Therefore,
and for instance, just to go in our area, I told you it's a growing area, but it's also they're connecting it to major highways. They're connecting us to the triangle area. So you can see that there's a lot of trends and market trends and home value trends to say that this is going to be an area that continues to increase because they're doing a lot of infrastructure work to grow it.
Exactly.
So another thing to talk about now.
Therefore, next item is about negotiation and offer strategy. That's where maybe in the beginning you were thinking of it, spotting an offer, but this is also could be an element that helps you with making decision.
And you have to have a real estate agent who really understands their market on your side for this one, because honestly, the first question is, can we get the closing costs? Can we offer lower? Because that's what everybody wants, some sort of deal. Can we offer lower than what they're asking? Well, the question really is going to be, do you want to get shut down and never talk to them again? Or is the seller open to negotiation based on feedback, what has been going on? So my rule of thumb is, if it's the hot house of the weekend, you probably can't ask for a lot. Rule of thumb, generally speaking, every house is different, every scenario is different. But generally speaking, if it's brand new to the market, it's not the time to start negotiating down. If it's been on the market for a while, well, then it's a wide open field. But that's just a generality. That's not a full blown.
And also, I wanted to mention, when people are asking if they're going to take our offer, we don't know. We always must put it in writing in a formal offer letter and submit it with the pre-qualification letter or any proof of fund. Therefore, when you asking me, Al, can we do a deal with this? We don't know. We need to put the offer and see if they take it or they don't take it.
And another question is, we often get, can we ask for those closing costs? Can we ask for lower? Can we ask for repairs right up front? The answer to all of it is yes. But depends on how strong you want to buy the house, what else is going on in the house. Because if it's the hottest house on the market, well, then they're going to take the best offer. If it's a house that isn't the hottest house on the market, maybe they take that and then they can talk about it, because maybe the HVAC is broken and that's something you want to negotiate.
Exactly. Therefore, definitely depends on how many people they're looking at that house, and if that the house of the week in the market. This is super important to know all this upfront.
And another thing, what you should do, what's the other question you should do?
The question is, are there any...
next one.
You talked about that.
Yeah.
Does your lender think the deal is fair based off their professional assessment or not?
Right. So they can also do the math on their end. And again, we're not appraisers, but we can tell you what we see in the market and what's going on. So we can give you our opinion. They can give you their opinion. You should get all the opinions, 100%.
Last item that we wanted to talk really is about personal suitability and your preference.
Right. So this goes back to you. Does the house meet your needs? Not necessarily wants, not necessarily, and your financials, because those are a need too. Is it the size, the layout, the feature that you basically need, the area that you need? Like, exactly. You have to look at your needs.
Exactly. Can you envision living in that house at least for 5 to 10 years? We're not talking about 30 years of the long term, but at least for a couple of years, you can see yourself and your family living in that house.
No, statistically speaking, most people live in a home 5 to 7 years. Some people live less. So we're just asking you to kind of really picture yourself. Are you going to be in there for a strength of time? Or are you going to be out in 6 months? Because then there's a problem. The next question and the last question is, are you comfortable with the commute, the accessibility to the amenities, to your job, to how are you okay? Because if you tell me I found the most beautiful house and it is 45 minutes, an hour from your job, and you're like, no, I definitely want this house, I definitely want this house, I definitely want this house. Are you totally comfortable driving that 45 minutes an hour every single day, 2 times a day? Because that's going to wear you down. So I just want you to really think about things like that before you make the offer, because in North Carolina, it is a due diligence state. You are going to lose your money if you start thinking about like, oh, that drive is going to kill me. well, then we never should have put that offer in to begin with, because you're going to lose money if you back out of the deal.
Exactly.
So we just want to make sure that everybody is prepared with that one. So just be sure you can handle that kind of commute.
We are excited to connect with you. Definitely call us, Alan Victoria, at 252-327-3357, and write us a comment. Share with us your thoughts, and we love to help you, and see you in next podcast and video.